With Chesapeake Bay gleaming in the distance, we are inside M&T Bank Stadium near the Inner Harbor in Baltimore, Maryland. Coming up, we've got a good matchup on tap between the Dallas Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens. Justin Tucker set to boom this one away. And off we go from M&T Bank Stadium. And they will elect to not bring this one out as our first drive will begin at the 25. Off the play fake, Prescott. And incomplete to open things up.
Oh, man, for him to be that wide open and drop it. Sometimes you have just too much time on your hands, right? You end up thinking way too much, and your hands get shaky.
And, yes, he's a tight end, but that's a catch he should have made. To throw on 2nd and 10, Prescott. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away.
They have to like what they've done defensively here at the outset of this drive. They forced a couple of incomplete passes, bring up a 3rd and 10. Don't be surprised to bring a little pressure on this snap.
So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive. Here's Prescott. Being chased out left. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Patrick Queen. And the Ravens are going to take possession of the football. Well, that is a quick lesson on how difficult this defense is to throw against. An interception on their initial drive of the ballgame.
Now we know why their offensive staff spent the entire week awake trying to prepare for this one, because you can't totally shy away from throwing the football.
And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked up by Afitu Melifonwu. And the Cowboys are going to take possession here at their own 16-yard line. So the interception there, and Charles, I'd imagine that's something you can maybe live with in December, but not come January.
And I love how you make the distinction there. You're talking about regular season versus the postseason, the playoffs. Because these guys, they've already clinched a playoff spot, but they know, looking ahead, when they get into the postseason, they've got to take better care of the football, because turnovers in that situation, they really become magnified.
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Well, this defense for the Ravens, they were very strong last week in that win over Cleveland.
It was a little bit enlightening talking with the defense coordinator about their performance last week, because the feeling was that it was a good, solid performance. They did what they needed to do to get the job done and get the win, but definitely a few lapses that they're looking to correct.
8 yards that time, able to take off, and the result is a first down.
He was certainly quick to atone for his early game interception. Instead of making another mistake forcing something, he reset himself and found a lane to pick up the first down.
A first down throw for Prescott. And he wisely will throw that one away.
And he's missed now in his first 4 passing attempts. The rhythm is just not there to begin this ball game.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. To throw is Prescott. The ball popped in the air and intercepted. Picked up by Marcus Williams.
And that's what we've seen from this defense all year long, because they've been so good at finding ways to take the football away. And they just gave us another example right here. A strong defense, that's something you're going to need to rely on come playoff time. And this crew has got one. There's no doubt about that, Brandon.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And this is taken in at the 5. And they will eventually eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. 36 yards on the play.
Already over 1,000 yards receiving this season. That catch is just going to add to his total. Certainly not resting on his laurels. He's trying to continue to gain as many yards as possible and continue this big season.
Dobbins will get down close to the goal line, but not in, as he'll be marked down at the 1. It's a gain of a couple, and it'll be 2nd and goal.
Good work there, holding him out on 1st down, and this is going to be a battle down here on the goal line. Can they hold their ground for 2, maybe even 3 more plays?
2nd down and goal. Jackson, that is caught. It's Bateman for a Raven touchdown. Rashad Bateman, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Ravens use the early turnover to get on the board first here in this one. Tucker able to connect on the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. He will return this from deep in the end zone. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively. Obviously, 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit like, hey, didn't we practice in that color jersey all week, not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with it. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
They keep on the ground with Elliott. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Inside give to Elliott. And across midfield he goes into Raven territory. 3 yards is half of what they needed. Now can they get the other 3 here on 3rd down?
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain considering the blitz that they just had against them.
The Ravens bring out an extra defensive back here on 3rd. Prescott. Going to throw right side here, complete. And he's going to be taken down with the 1st down at the Ravens' 32-yard line. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. The give is to Elliott, and he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
I think we got to give it up for him right there. That's a heck of an athletic move for a big man right in the middle of the line. How about the play he makes there? Nowhere to run, and he finishes that one off for a loss.
Play fake. Here's Prescott. He'll let this go for the end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Marcus Williams. And the Ravens are going to get the football here as the ball will come out to the 20. Week after week, we're seeing plays like this from him. And I think he's in line. We've discussed it before for NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
And a big reason why, I think, is because of his ball skills. And that's something that, for guys of his position, they've talked about it for years. They've done the drills. But they've really increased it in recent seasons.
That's caught at the 25. It's a big play there for Baltimore. 55 yards. Every defensive staff harps on limiting explosive plays. Job not so well done there.
Yeah, they talk about it all the time. A lot harder to stop, though, isn't it? And when you think of an explosive play, most offensive staffs define them as passes of 20 or more yards and runs of 15 or more yards.
They went zooming past that number there. And this is going to be hauled in by the tight end Andrews. And in for the Ravens touchdown. Mark Andrews, 25 yards for the touchdown. And the Ravens are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Tucker with the extra point, and it's now 14-0. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. As the offense comes out here, Charles, remember they threw the interception last time out, but they were moving the football down the field. Looked like they were going to have a sustained drive that ended in points, but then the pick ensued.
And because of that, there's no way you can call the last drive a success. Yes, there are things to build on because they found some play calls at work. Now, they've got to build another drive and find a way to avoid the turnover that plagued it on the last one.
Yeah, he's upended after a gain of 4 up to the 25-yard line.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. Prescott to throw it. Escaping the pressure right. And he'll just get rid of it. Well, the other day they told us when we got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point. And they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Ravens, they'll take over. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And this game, CD, some are calling it the game of the year. Others are saying, hey, this is the Super Bowl preview. And as we speak, these are the top seeds in each conference. How do you think these two teams approach this one internally?
And I think that we both subscribe to the theory that it is the game of the year so far, and it could be a Super Bowl preview. I know outwardly both teams are going to tell us, hey, it's 1 of 16. We're going to do what we do. Let's just go ahead and play our game. But I think we both know that internally, they're saying we've got to establish we're the team to beat in case we see them again.
A good gain on first has him set up with 2nd and just a couple of inches now from the 29. Now it's Jackson. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. An incomplete pass on 2nd down leads us to 3rd and inches.
Hey, middle. Hey, report.
Now it's Jackson. Open man is Duvernay. And he will have a Ravens first down, and he'll have it by plenty as they're able to keep the drive alive on 3rd and inches. The Ravens at 14-1 now on the year. And they're coming on a pretty good roll here. Winners of 3 straight.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
Throwing on first down, it's Jackson. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is the defense is certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
Jackson's throw into the hands of Andrews. 5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
And let's face it, you can put any Halloween costume on him. You're not going to be able to disguise him because for a tight end of his size, difficult to sneak him anywhere, but that's what they tried to do. Lined up on his right, tried to work his way back to his left, but just a minimal gain as the defense was able to react quickly.
To throw is Jackson. got his tight end. That's Andrews. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 31-yard line. Give them 22 there on the third down conversion.
Normally on third down and short yardage, you're thinking of throwing to your tight end. It's just going to be a simple chain mover. But this time they let him roam down the field, and a nice dart picks up the first down and then some.
So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 down at the 31. Jackson now. Touchdown! Devin Duvernay, 31 yards. And the Ravens take a 3-touchdown lead. Tucker able to connect on the extra point, and it's now 21-0. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession, but I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer because only a few teams in league history have ever come back from a 4-score deficit, and if they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
So after the sack, here's 2nd and 14. A give to Elliott. And he'll find some space up to about the 25. A sizable gain there, 9 yards as they get it back to a 3rd and 5.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
Well, obviously searching for their first touchdown this game, partner, and that quick 3 and out, that's not going to achieve that at all. Give victory to the secondary there. They brought out tight coverage on that 3rd down snap.
On 4th down, here's Brian Anger now to kick this one away. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. This is taken at about the 14. 13 yards on the return there after a punt of 57. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. Well, everything right now that they touch on this side of the football, it seems to turn to gold. They've scored on 3 straight possessions. That lead continues to grow. And, I mean, if they can get points here, Charles, might almost be an insurmountable comeback for the other side.
I think you make a great case for that, so I'm going to flip it over to the other side. Could they make the big comeback? Certainly. Am I expecting it? Not at all. I think if we don't see a drastic change in how they're playing, this blowout's going to get bigger and bigger before the final gun.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete.
But one thing we certainly know, he likes to take those risks deep downfield during games, coverage or not. The coverage was there on that one. No catch, but he's also fortunate. No turnover either.
On 2nd down, a run with Dobbins. And he'll make it only to the 43, a gain of 2.
The passing game's been working quite well so far, but the running game's been a little bit of a struggle, and that's a surprise to me. Typically, when you can throw it, you've opened up lanes for your runners.
And the Cowboys here on 3rd down, bringing in an extra defensive back. Off the play fake to Dobbins, here's Jackson. Pass on the crossing route is complete. This is Andrews. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 36. 21 yards there on third down.
We often hear the phrase sure-handed tight ends, and he certainly fits into that category. Plus, he's got a quarterback who knows to look his way when they need a big pickup. And on this play, he finds him for the first down.
This pass complete. Jackson finding Andrews. And they're going to get this down inside the 20.
Let's just call it what it is. This has been a flat-out struggle for this defense all game long. They've really had a hard time slowing them down. And while I'm not big on speeches and guys jumping up and down, they might need their team leader on defense to get in their face right now and light a fire under these guys. They've got to start playing better assignment football and start getting guys on them.
That is caught. It's Bateman for a Raven touchdown. Rashad Bateman with his second touchdown here in this first half. And the Ravens are able to add on to their first half lead. It's not too often that you say, hey, this one's going to be over by halftime. And, CD, I know our bosses probably don't want us to say that because they don't want people clicking away. But this one might be over by halftime.
And since you've already put your job on the line by actually saying it, I will co-sign and go with you because you're my partner. We don't mean to do it. But this game has been exactly as you've described. I see no hope for them going forward.
They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything to grab onto right now, aren't they?
I'm wondering if someone's going to take charge in the huddle. You know, we always look to the quarterback, but sometimes it's another player on the team, a star or veteran, someone with some excitement and energy. It's like, all right, guys, let's shake things up and let's go, because they still have an opportunity to make things happen.
Shake it off. We remind you in just a couple of minutes we'll get you to Orlando and our good friend Jonathan Coachman. Coach will run through some of the numbers and the next-gen stats from this first half of football so far. And once again they stop him behind the line. Great job by this Ravens defense. They lose 2 on that last play, so things get even tougher. 3rd and long coming up.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one by the line of scrimmage.
On is the punter, Brian Anger, to kick this one away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. This is fielded at the 27. A big boot that time. 57 yards the official distance. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And now consider the lead. The question is, how much is good enough? Are you going for more?
It's the NFL. There's never enough, I believe, because they get reeled in all the time when you sit on the ball. I think that they will try and move the ball downfield and try and squeeze a few more points out of this first half. They'll be careful. They'll be a little bit cautious at times, but also they will attack downfield and try and get position for at least 3 points.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. They dial up the corner blitz that time, and it delivers to the tune of a 9-yard loss. I think this defense, Charles, realizing the deficit they're facing, they're going to have to step up and make more plays like we just saw there.
Yeah, those are the type of plays that can focus a defense because, as we know, they've had their trouble so far in this one. But they just proved to themselves that they can get to him, and I expect them to continue to.
This is intercepted. Picked off by Jalen Ramsey. And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football. So really the first speed bump that this offense has encountered, they'd had the rule of the roost here in this first half, but now slowed up just a bit by the interception.
And there's a chance that that's a wake-up call for them because you don't want to go on autopilot too early. That team on defense is capable of making some plays similar to the one they made right there.
Well, still some climbing left to do to get back to even, but forcing a turnover and getting the field goal there, that's a small step toward erasing the early deficit.
Absolutely. That interception field goal, that's the beginning of what they hope will be several steps towards erasing that deficit and building a lead of their own by the time this game is over.
So we've come upon halftime here in Week 17 as we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach! Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth ready for quarter number 3. The final 2 quarters of the NFL regular season are upon us as the second half of Week 17 is underway. Devin Duvernay now returning from the end zone. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much as he's marked down officially at the 21. The Baltimore offense at the line set to get going. And it's hard to imagine that the first half could have gone any better for them. So what's the approach here in the second half?
Just continue to play smart football because they got the other team down and they feel good about the position they're in. The obvious thing people would say is just keep attacking, but I think you also have to be smart about it. Avoid turnovers. That's about the only thing that can derail you at this point. Attack, but make sure you take care of the ball.
Play action. It's Jackson. And that is caught downfield by Beckham. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. I think it's fair to say there's nothing that gets a crowd to its feet quite like a big play, and that was something special there. Boy, was he moving.
Well, in this league where coordinators worry so much about drawing up the right routes, blocking assignments, misdirections and stuff, they have these precise arrows and movements. Sometimes the best plays just come from the schoolyard where you look at your fastest guy and say, go long, go get it, big man.
And if you're wondering how fast he was going, next-gen stats clocked him at close to 21 miles an hour. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. A CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history. And that's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And, partner, you know as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late, that wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
On the counter, Elliott. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And a strong run that time as he's across midfield and down to the 43. Another first down, this time on a gain of 19.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Now flags fly in, and one of the Cowboys looked like he got going a little early. A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. After the penalty, it's Elliott. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's second down.
You got to figure the further they fall behind, the more you think that they'll get away from the run. They're trying to stick with it, but the results, they just aren't there.
On second down, Elliott. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Just a 1-yard loss that time, but that's not what they needed. Now they're dealing with a 3rd and long.
They have 3 tight ends in that formation. That's almost a universal sign that they're planning to run the football. But how about the defense there? They met force with force and caused a stack up behind the line of scrimmage and threw him for a loss.
Call it no gain there, and it leads to a 4th down. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle, that's what we saw right there.
Yeah, that's what their job is, and really a lot of the time they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game because you know those defensive ends, they're like in a sprinter stance. They're just headed straight for the quarterback. That was good recognition on that play to hold them to no gain. That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
From that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. They'll start on the ground with Dobbins. He'll work his way up the middle for a gain of about 4, 2nd down.
And that's frustrating for a defense because they've got them pinned down deep. And on the first play, they gave up a run that keeps an offense on schedule.
Yeah, because 3 to 4 yards, that's all you're looking for right there, right?
That's absolutely perfect, really, as a play call. You get 3 to 4 yards on first down. That's what they talk about us all the time, about being ahead of the chains or on target, ahead of schedule. They were after that run.
Jackson to Andrews on that one. 1st down, Baltimore.
When an offense reads blitz, doesn't matter where it's coming from, tight ends know that they become a big part of the passing game because they should be an easy outlet when all those extra bodies are trying to get to the quarterback. A hot route, so to speak.
Looking for more there on 1st down, but this throw downfield incomplete.
After what they faced during this game where they've given up a ton of yards downfield, there has to be a measure of revenge right there for the secondary. They've been shredded throughout the game and finally forced an incompletion.
Meanwhile, Jackson's throw complete there to Beckham. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the 1st. They'll try to run for it with Dobbins. And some room to work. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 60 yards now on the ground on just 7 carries. So they opted to run the ball there on 3rd down on their side of the field.
I wonder if that was a call play, or did he check into it? And if he did, that took a lot of guts because on his own side.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Damone Clark fought his way through and buried him behind the line. But defensively on the previous play, they gave up a pretty good chunk of yardage, but right there, they got a good portion of it right back.
And if we just flip it around from the offensive perspective, took a nice step forward, and how about a couple of leaps backwards after that play? They've got to figure out a big call coming up here to try and gain that yardage back. Well, partner, guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make 3rd down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big 3rd down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
Hey, move!
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. That's taken in by Duvernay. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Devin Duvernay with touchdown number 2 in the game, and now 11 on the year. And the Ravens extend their lead yet again. Tucker with the extra point, and the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result, and he opted for the touchback. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And really, Charles, not much of a surprise that they're losing. They just haven't been able to get much of anything going in the pass game. And as you well know, in today's NFL, if the passing game isn't working, usually not much else is working either.
You're exactly right about that, partner. And I know that right now the easy answer would be, hey, let's run the football. But that might not be everything you need. So despite the fact that they've struggled throwing it, they've got to find some type of a play, multiple plays, that puts the ball in the air and allows for them to have some success.
An awful lot of congestion in the middle third of the field, but how about our defensive tackle right there? He didn't just hold the line, he provided some push and smacked the ball carrier down for a loss.
They go back to Elliott. He's been busy. Across the 30 to the 31-yard line. It's a gain of just 3, and the offense likely going to yield to the punting unit here on 4th down. Here's Brian Anger now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. He gets us away. It's a good one, drawing toward the sidelines. And they won't risk defending a return here. That one's out of bounds, and it'll be spotted at the 14-yard line. The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. They're obviously right now in the driver's seat, comfortably ahead. They've scored on a couple straight possessions, Charles. And, I mean, for them, I guess it's just more of the same, right? Keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah, it's not typical for us to see games out of reach in the third quarter. Right now, they're unstoppable in this one. And seeing how they just came out onto the...
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. They'll go again with Dobbins, and he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces, and I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down. On is the punter, Townsend, as he gets this one away. And we'll see what he can do on the return. And that'll be a return of 12 following a very nice punt. And the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the 4th quarter. This will be their 3rd straight defeat. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down. A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Elliott. And he'll be stopped up at the 26 after a gain of only a couple. A 3rd down now, and those last 2 plays indicative of how things have gone for them. Just nowhere to go on the ground and struggling to put up points. And he's going to be stopped here a few yards short of the 1st as the tackle is made at the 33. A good pickup there, 7 yards, but it brings up 4th down. Here's Brian Anger now. He's been terrific so far. This is taken around the 12. A nice return that time of about 14 yards. And they will take over 1st and 10. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And, Charles, we are in the midst of a very one-sided affair. I think this is where you and I have to fill a little bit. You want to regale us with old stories of your childhood in New Paltz, New York?
I don't think anyone wants to hear that,
but this is a perfect time for us to start listing MVP candidates, right? The best teams we've seen so far this year, the best games that we've called thus far, how we anticipate the season unfolding. We can go in so many different directions because the game certainly not taking us there.
Oh, I hear the remotes clicking off right now. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up third down.
Well, I would have figured after the 9-yard run on the previous play, getting 1 more yard wouldn't have been much of a problem. But apparently it was, and now it's third down.
Now Jackson. And this is dropped. Oh, it's incomplete. He had a big gainer in his sights, but he could not reel it in. The Ravens send their punter out now as he'll kick it away for the second time. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
Give him 2 yards that time, and it's going to leave him with a 3rd and 11 situation.
When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Call it a gain of 4, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Well, they get off the field on 3rd down. Excellent job, an excellent defensive series. We always talk about adjustments and usually only at halftime, but the best teams adjust series to series. And on that series, they adjusted so well that they got the job done in fine style.
Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for Dallas. This is away and a very good kick angled for the sidelines. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line.